أوقفوا المذبحة حالاً. أوقفوا قتل الأطفال.
We must see the massacre cease immediately. It is the murder of children, it is famine, it is genocide in Gaza. It is the terrorism of the settlers. We need to have an immediate ceasefire. President of the Human Rights Council, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, for 143 days, Israel has been flouting international law with their cruel aggression against our people in Gaza and in committing genocide, the crime of genocide against the Palestinian people and their inalienable rights, in particular the right to self-determination and independence. They are sending in tanks and Israeli soldiers who are flouting human rights and the very principles of humanity, and they are enjoying immunity through the veto, and they are benefiting from double standards and the failure of the international community to hold Israel accountable for these war crimes and these crimes against humanity and the crime of genocide. As we meet today, 2.3 million Palestinians are in Gaza, subjected to a massacre. They're deprived of all rights, and they are suffering from illnesses, from famine, from thirst, from hunger. They have a lack of medicine. Israel is using these as weapons. They are killing and torturing millions of Palestinians and have been doing so since the start of this Israeli aggression. We have more than 29,000 martyrs, women and children for the most part, and 1.5 million Palestinians are subject to forced displacement, and they are now taking shelter in Rafah, fully exposed to death on a daily basis, to famine. They are being deliberately targeted by Israel. Israel is destroying civilian infrastructure, houses, hospitals, schools, to cause the living conditions of the Palestinians to deteriorate, to a terrible end to. They are systematically applying their policies since 1948 to bring the Palestinian people to their knees. They are forcing displacement, and they are killing the Palestinian people. And Israel is centering UNRWA, which allows our people in Gaza to survive, and Palestinians in other regions as well. The international community should adopt a firm position against the policies of the Netanyahu government. The international community must assert that there's no alternative to the actions of UNRWA today or tomorrow, and any impediment to their activities and any weakening of the mandate cannot take place until the Palestinian people have regained their right of return in conformity with the resolutions. The events in Gaza offend our humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, the crimes of the occupying powers, the displacement of the Palestinian people in the West Bank and in Jerusalem are the result of the colonization, the settlement policies, the apartheid applied by Israel in all of the occupied territories, the settlement activities and the daily incursions into Palestinian territory. These acts terrorize civilians, and this is taking place in the West Bank as well, and we are seeing measures being adopted which deprive the Palestinians of having access to Jerusalem and the Al-Aqsa Mosque in particular at this particularly holy time. And in the occupied Palestinian territories, in each and every place, we are seeing death, chaos, and suffering.
I bring to your attention the critical situation arising from Israel's policies, laws, and actions, which are constituting crimes of genocide, apartheid, and ethnic cleansing. These actions pose both existential and strategic threats to the Palestinian cause. I urge the international community to respond strategically and decisively by taking positive, irreversible steps, including by recognizing the State of Palestine and granting it full membership to the UN, by imposing accountability on Israel, and by prompting states to fulfill their obligations and responsibilities. It is imperative for the international community to urgently implement its resolutions and to exert pressure on Israel, demanding an end to its aggression on Gaza, ensuring the entry of aid, preventing forced displacement, and protecting the Palestinian people. I reaffirm that the government of the State of Palestine is ready to continue taking up its responsibilities in Gaza Strip, the West Bank, including East Jerusalem, and is eager to collaborate with the international community to revive life in Gaza and alleviate the suffering of our children and people. Mr. President, the Israeli apartheid regime, along with its settler colonialism, serves as the root causes of all crimes, hindering the Palestinian people from exercising their fundamental rights and freedom. The international community should take steps to implement the provisional measures of the International Court of Justice in the case of South Africa versus Israel, challenging and isolating the Israeli brutal illegal regime through boycott, the prohibition of engagement with products and companies associated with settlements, and the suspension of Israel's membership to international organizations. Moreover, the High Commissioner should update the database of companies involved with settlements, designate settlers on terrorist lists, and call for halting the export of weapons. Political and economic sanctions must be imposed, holding the apartheid regime accountable and initiating steps towards its dismantlement, ultimately ending the Israeli occupation totally, immediately, and unconditionally. Mr. President, today the International Court of Justice will finalize the oral hearings on the advisory opinion regarding the legality of the Israeli occupation. More than 54 countries and international organizations presented their oral submissions. The majority of them urged the Israeli occupation is unlawful, constitutes apartheid, and must be brought to an end. Mr. President, in practice, international law must apply to all without exception, that all human life is treated with respect and dignity regardless of color, nationality, gender, or creed. We must do that in action, not rhetorical statements. We must do this not just for Palestine, but for all the humanity. Thank you.